Hey guys, it's Gigi. Come on into my kitchen. Let me tell you, let me make sure I've got my volume turned up. Okay, so my recording button went off, so I don't know where I stopped and how far I got, but I'm browning up some ground beef, some from the Brown Piercy Cattle Company, and we are going to make some enchiladas. So I've got my ground beef in here, and I diced up, which I thought was recording, but I diced up an onion, and I put 2 tablespoons of my homemade taco seasoning into my cast iron, and I'm letting that heat up. I put 2 tablespoons of my taco seasoning. Let me see if I got that turned around. So we are letting that brown up because we're going to add a few more things to this. So that's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to brown up my ground beef, and when it gets brown, I'll come back and I'll show you what we're going to do next, okay? Okay, guys, we have got our ground beef, our onions, and our seasoning all cooked up. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some rotel, just fire roasted tomatoes and chilies, to our sauce. Now I'm not going to use, I've got about half the can in there right now. I'll decide if I want to use all of it, or if I'm going to reserve the rest of that can and use it some other kind of way. Nope, I think I'm going to use it all. So 1 can of rotel, just diced fire roasted tomatoes and green chilies, okay? And this Brown Piercy Cattle Company beef is very lean. Is not rendering out a lot of fat. So truthfully, I didn't even have to drain it. So we've just added some really good flavor with our homemade taco seasoning and our diced up onions and our rotel. So we're just going to continue letting that cook down just a little bit. Let's just take a look at this. Okay, let me tell you what we're going to do next. I opened up a can of our refried beans. Okay, I've got refried beans, and I've also got a can of the, and that was the old El Paso brand. And I'm also using the old El Paso red enchilada sauce, and this is mild. Okay, I'm using the mild. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pour a little bit of the enchilada sauce down into the bottom of our baking dish. And we're going to get our oven set to 350 degrees. And we're going to be letting it preheat while we are assembling our enchiladas, okay? So as you can see, I've just got a little bit of enchilada sauce in the bottom. I'm going to take, and remember, I'm using the low carb wraps, but I'm going to take a spoonful of our refried beans, and I'm just going to go around our tortilla with refried beans, okay? And then I'm going to put some of our, now remember, this is ground beef, chopped up onions, homemade taco seasoning, and a can of rotel, which is fire roasted tomatoes with green chilies, okay? So we are going to fill it full of our meat mixture. We're not going to skimp. And then we're going to, let me grab my, hang on guys. Okay, had to get my little placemat out. So we're going to repeat refried beans. And again, we are preheating our oven to 350, and we are filling. Now, I'm being very generous with the meat, but if I get it too full, I won't be able to roll it and tuck it, so. So then I just tuck, like what I just said. Tuck it so full you can't get all your meat in there. Then I just roll it and I lay it into our casserole dish. And I'll do one more. I'll do one more with you, and then I'll finish rolling them for the sake of time on the video. We'll do the rest of them off camera, okay? Roll it and tuck it. And place it seam side down. Okay, let me get the rest of these rolled out and then I'll come back. Okay guys, we are back. We have got our enchiladas rolled up. And what I did is I used 2 of them out of here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 was in this one package. We had 6. Okay, in the keto wrap. So what I did is I took 2, the longer ones that you see here, because these are a little bit bigger of a tortilla, okay, which is fine. It's all going to work the same. But I did use 2 out of this packet, so I got 6, 7, 8 enchiladas. And so now what we're going to do is we don't want to waste any of this leftover meat. So I am going to go ahead and put this meat over the top. You know, because like when you're in your kitchen cooking, you can do it however you want to do it, okay? So I'm going to put the remainder of the meat, because I stuffed those enchiladas till you just could not stuff them anymore. Okay? I'm just going to give the remainder, there's not a lot, but we're going to not waste it, and we're going to spread it over our enchiladas that we rolled and faced seam side down. Okay, and then we're going to pour some more enchilada sauce over the top. Let it seep down into okay. Now we'll have a little bit of this left over. That is not a problem. It won't go to waste. I'll use it for something. And then what I'll do is I will slide this, because this is very full to the top, but I will sit this on one of my baking sheets just in case it were to bubble over. It will bubble over onto my sheet and not into the bottom of my oven. I've got the Tillamook 4 cheese, 4 Mexican 4 cheese. That's the cheese that I'm going to use to top this with, okay? So let's cover the top with some cheese. And just so I'm not clanking and being noisy, let me put you on pause and let me get my baking dish. Okay, we are going to pop this into our preheated oven, 350 degrees. And we're going to let this bake probably for about 25 to 30 minutes, or until the cheese is bubbly on top, and then we'll be back. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're waiting on our enchiladas to finish baking in the oven. We've got about 8 or 9 minutes left on those, and this is going to take about 7 or 8 minutes. But this is the Knorr cilantro lime rice, okay? And all you do with this is, in a medium saucepan, you bring 1.5 cups of water and a tablespoon of olive oil to a boil, okay? And then let's see, 1.5 cups of water, 1 tablespoon of oil, and the contents of this packet. And so we're going to put all this in here, give it a stir, and we're going to bring it to a boil. And then we're going to, once it comes to a boil, we're going to reduce the heat and we're going to simmer it covered for about 7 minutes, and then we'll let it stand for about 2 minutes. So we're going to let this cook because it'll be all be done about the same time. Okay, so this has came to a boil. So we're going to reduce the heat to simmer. I'm going to pop a lid on it and going to let it sit there and simmer for about 7 minutes. Okay, I just took it out of the oven, baked for about 20 to 25 minutes, and then I turned it on broil for about 2 minutes. The cheese is nice and melted, but it is piping hot. Our rice is still simmering, and let me grab and show you what I've been doing while this has been cooking. Okay, this is my first time buying lettuce since all this has been going around, and you know what I'm talking about. But I bought some lettuce that I seen people talking about that was organic. It was grown in a greenhouse, perfectly safe. Now y'all know it said you don't have to wash it. It hasn't been touched by any human hands, all the things, but I still washed it. But anyhow, I found it today when I was out grocery shopping. So I have chopped up some lettuce. Now I still don't know if my husband's gonna eat it or not. We shall see. But I figured we could top our enchiladas on the top with some lettuce, some tomato, and some sour cream. So I have diced up and prepared that for us. But we're just waiting on our lime cilantro rice to finish doing its 7 to 8 minutes of simmering. And that's gonna have to cool down just a little bit. And once that happens, I will come back and I'll give it a taste test with you, okay? All right, let me see if I can lift this up closer to you without spilling it and making a mess, but just so you can see it up close, okay? Because I have got this filled to the absolute top. Guys, it smells so good. So it's still hot, but I just wanted to show it to you up close. Okay, guys, it has cooled enough now for us to give it a sample, a taste test. I have put me an enchilada on here and some rice, and I'm going to get me just a little bit of tomato. And I got to thinking, I know I've got cilantro in my rice, but I may add a few cilantro flakes to my rice. I don't know. I may. I said I may. But right now, we just want to give this a taste. Well, that look delicious, guys. I love cilantro lime rice. It is so good. If you've never tried it, I encourage you to try it. It's so good. And remember, we're keeping this on somewhat of a healthy level because I used the keto-friendly wraps. Let me get a little bit of sour cream on mine. Let me see. Let me turn it around that way. That might look better on that side. That's delicious. That is delicious. And of course, y'all already know that the Brown Piercy Cattle Company beef is top notch. Great flavor. I will drop their link in my comment section below this video. I will also attach my code. You can use my code at checkout, GG20, and get yourself a discount. This is fantastic. I love to take and just use the same meat, say ground beef, and show it in so many different ways to use it. I mean, it's innumerable what you can do with using your meats in a different way than the maybe traditional, or just get creative and get unique with it. But I just decided today that I haven't made enchiladas in a while, and that sounded really good. So I'm going to go eat. Thank y'all for hanging out with me for another video. I appreciate you being here. If you like my video and you like my content, can you give me a like, a thumbs up, a comment? And do you mind pushing that share button and sharing me out to your friends? I would certainly appreciate it. And I'm going to go eat, and I'll see you back again for another recipe. But before I go, can I encourage you to be the hands and feet of Jesus? Be his mouthpiece and share his love and kindness with somebody today, okay? You will not have to look very far in the world that we're living in to find somebody who stands in need. Okay, let God use you. See you later. Bye-bye.